There we go. Can you hear me? Okay, now we're. I'm gonna mute it. Muted it. Unmuted.
Hey Pete, good morning. How are you?
Morning, can you hear me?
Hear you just fine.
Good.
Thanks for joining us online. I'm sorry you're sick.
Yeah, I just don't want to get you guys sick, so thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. We appreciate it. I was looking. John Hopkins had a map of the U.S. and where respiratory viruses or respiratory illnesses are the worst, and Colorado's not in the purple, but we're in the darkest shade of red that they can put up.
I can believe it. No, there's been
It's
been all around me for the last 2 weeks.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can go ahead and call this meeting to order here at 8:36 a.m. First up, let's go ahead and consider our bills and authorize warrants. Do you guys have any questions?
I actually had no questions this time.
I went through them. I actually have no questions either.
Let me just see if I can find one that I was reading last night that I had a question about, but it wasn't a big deal if I can't remember it. Sorry, just give me just 1 second here, see if I can remember what it was. It was just a line item. I wasn't familiar with the vendor, so. I'm not so concerned about it. So yeah, I'll entertain a motion to authorize bills and warrants.
I'll make a motion to accept the bills and warrants as presented.
I'll second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
Aye. All right. Do you guys have a chance to take a look at the meeting minutes from December 15th?
I have a couple things for you, Willie. They're just typos. Typos. That's hard to imagine.
Sorry about that. I thought it was a statement, not a paperclip.
Okay. Yes. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11 down. That should be Ann instead of Ann. Right there. Commissioners Ann update.
Oh, okay.
And then on the second or the last one, it says should be used as a match. Second sentence right here, used as a match.
Oh.
They're just typos. That's all I got.
All right. Do you have anything, Pete?
Yeah, I have one typo, the second paragraph from the bottom on the first page. It says Commissioner Fetchenheimer moved to approve transmittal, and then Commissioner Fetchenheimer seconded the motion.
Oh, good,
I think
good catch. I didn't
there
see
you go. Yeah,
that.
that's all I have.
Yeah.
Wow,
Dang,
I did everything on that one.
you know, yeah.
Pretty sure that Pete seconded that, but I can't remember. Did you?
I would assume it was Pete.
Yeah,
Usually-
probably.
Usually is.
Yeah.
Actually, Pete moved and Scott seconded.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I was like, yeah. All right. Well, would anybody like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes with the underlying changes?
There, I'll do that and second it too. No, I'll make a motion to approve the December 15th minutes.
And I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
All right,
I
can't help it.
All right, we're gonna do our first appointment here just a few minutes early. Welcome Anthony Edwards to talk about annexation at Anvil.
No, Anthony.
All right, I'll sit in the sick man's chair. So, we sent the map, you should have that, the language, the legal language, for the actual, for what we would need you to approve for us to float as a petition isn't in your packet right now. That was an oversight by me. I will get that over to Dennis, let him know what we're doing, and then I think what we'll do is in the next meeting, have that. What's the process that's going to happen is Lucy and I will take, assuming you all approve what we're going to do, we'll take the petition around and hopefully get half or more of the owners to petition. It is a petition to town to annex this area. The petition would be directed by the county as an owner. And then we would go get the signatures, and then ideally if the enough signatures, meaning half of the owners are in alignment with that, then we will go ahead and we will move forward and have the town approve that annexation. Would like to have that done in the next few months. I know there's some people down at Anvil who would like to vote in the April election. Not sure if that'll happen, but the idea is that if we can get those signatures in a timely manner, they would be able to do that. So we'll bring that up in 2 weeks. We'll bring that documentation, the actual documentation that you all would be having us circulate for the petition. The map for that needed to be divided in two. Let me explain how that's going to work. The map is we had Dirk do the survey. You can only at 1/6 of whatever you are going to annex must touch town. So we needed to basically bifurcate Anvil with a legal description, where we don't have to. It's a legal description versus a actual change in title. Okay, and the way this works is we will do the one annexation, and once we go to float the petition or the petition, assuming that it's approved, then that petition would recognize the area that's closest to town. There would be another request. We'll do that, and it will be a following request to do the other side of the land, which is all the property owned by the county right now. And these things can really happen simultaneously. They can happen really, they may end up being a different meeting, but they could happen at the same meeting, one after another. So that's what we're doing. Are there any questions about that procedure?
No, just one quick question, just regarding the map, kind of, like what like boundary essentially are we talking about here? Is it like this boundary?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And I can talk to Dirk, where I asked him for one other thing that I'm working on him, if to maybe draw that darker on there so that you and the public have a better idea.
I just wanted to make sure, sometimes, you know, copies that come out as clear. And
Yeah.
it's strong.
Sure.
And I guess,
Double check.
the big thing as far as advantages to
No. not
annexation, one is, we get.
Sorry.
Advantage is annexation, you get, all those folks can now vote in town elections. The city would assume all the plowing responsibilities, is that correct? Except for maybe a little bit around the apartments or
Right.
something like that.
The road would become a town.
The road does, but not
The road.
not the, we still are responsible for the parking lots.
That's right.
And then, what happens with, taxes, as far as town and county?
As far as taxes,
Yeah. Is there
then basically, right now, if you're living there, like anybody else in the county, you pay taxes to the county, the school district, Southwest Water. But you don't
But
pay the
not the
town.
town. So,
And once you're annexed, that additional mill levy will be.
where they're also
Added.
paying to the town, then.
Added to the
Okay,
town.
so that's the other advantage. And, any other advantages that you guys can think of? That's the three main ones I would.
For
Uh,
the
annexation.
county or to the town or to the
either
people.
way, I mean,
I think that area lends itself the way it's been developed, in other words, to be a part of town. I think that when you're talking about a neighborhood that's adjacent to town right now, the idea that it would be brought into the town and that they would receive services and engage with town. I mean, the county has a lot of area they already have to plow and maintain and
Yeah.
everything else. That's not really, I mean, historically, this community, meaning the San Juan and the town, Silverton community, has had a more of what I would call I don't like using this word, but it is the word that's used on more of an urban type of feel, and that's what that area is versus more of what the county is.
Right.
And so, I think that's a positive as well, that would be done there. But, I think some people down there would like to vote and would like to be able to go to town and ask for certain services and everything
Sure.
else that is makes it a little bit more complicated in the interface with the county. I mean, I'm not,
Sure.
that's not a critique, it's just,
Yeah.
I think that is the primary benefit, is you got these people that are right on the edge of the town, but aren't citizens of the town, so they can't vote, they can't vote in the city election, they can't run for the.
Yeah.
Yeah, running for office, I think, and
Yeah.
more electable.
They're using town services, library, things like that. but they're
Yeah.
not-
They're not
Not paying
paying into
taxes,
that.
they don't support
I
that.
forgot about that too. So, and that population is gonna do nothing but increase down there too.
Right,
as we go along.
and it's built out, and I mean, it's building out fairly quick right now. There's a lot of people gonna be down there. I think it's beneficial for them to be part of the town, so.
well, and the town public works is used to interacting with more dense areas. That's not a critique of the county, but the county has different things
Sure.
going on. I mean,
And you think about it, there's, say, 50 people living down there eventually. That's 5 to 8% of the voting population.
I think that's a low number.
Yeah.
I think there's close to that now.
Is it- Yeah, yes. and you're right.
Apartments and
I forgot about the
houses,
apartments, yeah, apartments
yeah.
and the houses.
I,
You probably are, and that is that's a sizable percentage of your voting population.
the Zanoni property I anticipate will probably be developed over the next 3 to 5 years. That's not gonna be a small population in there, I mean, and then I'm not sure what'll happen, with the other properties that are being developed, but it's, there
The
could be,
concentration.
there could be more than 100 people living down in that area
Yeah.
in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So, and that's where it's all gonna be, and it makes sense not to bifurcate this area off from town, in my mind. And I believe that the most of the people we've gone and surveyed, Lucy and I've gone and surveyed, they're supportive of it.
Nice.
We just need to get their name on a petition.
And, you know, from the county's perspective, from the beginning of the project, you know, we designed it. And put in utilities to match town standards with the expectation that it would be annexed,
Right,
so.
so that planning was already there too.
Yeah, so we'll get you the legal document, the petition document. And finishing up something with Dirk right now, and one of the things that Austin was just wanting to make sure is that the line that he thought we had was the line. I'll talk to Kenny about maybe having a second annexation map. It says draft on here, but that just kind of more identifies the line. We don't want anybody to sign that petition, because we do have to have that map behind it and say, well, we thought that was something else, and we don't have that issue.
So one thing, just as far as like what we were talking about as far as taxes and tax breakouts, I wonder how much sometimes we lose as the county for some of these, you know, neighboring areas. I just, as a curiosity, tried to put an address in out of the powerhouse and see what that came back with, and I was definitely being charged for town taxes. And so I'm wondering if the county is potentially missing out on a little bit of their share of the revenue of sales tax. That we get, yeah, just like online sales stuff, you know, because I'm not sure that companies like Amazon really demarcate. When you have a Silverton address, I feel like as long as you put in the Silverton, Colorado address, I feel like all of that is going to the tax. So we might be losing out on a little bit of remote sales tax money from that. I haven't tried to do it down in Anvil yet, but it would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Not that it's going to be an issue in the future for that area, but
I mean, it's possible, I think, generally speaking, even though it's got a Silverton address, the state knows where those lines are at, so when they're, you know, if it goes, I don't know that they so much look at the address as they look at the business number, the retail license. I mean, one that's made me nervous in the past, and I know we've lost money, is everything in Cascade Village actually has a Durango address.
oh. Do all of their online purchases and remote sales go to Durango?
We get quite a bit from, you know, from Cascade, so.
Okay, so we do.
So I'm thinking, you know, I'm probably not all, I mean, there's probably pieces that fall through the crack, but I think for the most part.
We're collecting Cascades. Oh, that's interesting, even though they have a zip
They do
code somewhere else.
They have it.
We're talking, you know, 50, 100 residents. I mean, that's probably the biggest drawback for us is that I mean, those residents are consumers, and basically the way that the taxes are written now, we'll lose out on, you know, purchases that people make for, you know, that 100 or 150 people. But
Yeah.
This was always the goal, and the end was annexation by the town, and I think it's worth
Oh, yeah.
it for sure.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with it at all. I'm sure Louis will be happy not to have to plow
Yeah,
I can guarantee that.
just another note too, that if the county's, you know, we're trying to look at purchasing a smaller plowing vehicle too, that could be a good area for that to be used as well. Down there too, if we're buying a skid steer with a plowing attachment and plowing attachments, and that would be a really good area for it to be utilized down there too, in addition to our public things.
Louis had a problem with plowing just because there's so much stuff in the way. You know, as far as vehicles and trailers and piles of lumber and all kinds of stuff. He's just had some complaints about that, so.
Yeah, I think that's something that needs to be addressed on a higher level, but maybe it better be at the town level.
Yeah,
Well, and that's just it, I mean, once it becomes part of the town.
then it's a red alert.
They fall under the same guidelines of red alert, so odd even side of the street.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, that would solve that problem actually pretty quick.
okay, so I'm gonna get that, I'll get that to Willie. I think Dirk's gonna do one other thing. I'm gonna touch. And hopefully, I think. We'll have that on your agenda. I mean, we can talk about it more, but on your agenda in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then I'll plan on seeing you all next Thursday, at James Ranch.
Yes, just one more thing, kind of related to this, but not really, just for San Juan Development Association, did they complete the lottery and all that?
They did, and I don't have any details, but, it turned out they had 3 houses available, they ended up with 3 applicants that qualified, so all 3 applicants got houses.
That's all they had, they didn't have a lottery?
I think that, yeah, well, they went through the lottery, but there was only 3 of them. I think they had several more, but, not all of them qualified, income qualified, but or didn't complete their application or whatever, but the 3 that did,
I think it'd be great to have San Juan Development or Housing Authority or anybody come and give us an update on how that went, and just so that they can, just so we can hear from them how it went and try to better prepare for if we need to make any changes or if anything needs to happen.
Yeah, I think any time you can figure out who that's assisting and who's left out, not purposely, but because of the guidelines, it's good to know.
Yeah.
So you know where you need to maybe focus the next effort
Sure.
or add effort to.
Yeah.
Okay, good to go. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
See you later, Pete. You gonna buy me a hamburger next Thursday?
Grass fed.
Oh, yeah. Y'all have a good day.
All right, see you, Anthony.
See you after today.
Anthony, just let me know what works for you, and, yeah.
Yeah, I'll give him a call. I have court, but I'll get a break.
Did you guys ever set a time for the James Ranch meeting? I don't have it on my phone.
We're supposed to meet them, I think, noon to 1:30.
Okay,
So my thought is that we carpool down there, could be in multiple cars, might need to be, but at 10:30. So we get down there, I mean.
Yeah.
You know.
You never know what the weather's gonna look like.
Yeah, if the weather's bad.
Yeah.
If the weather's bad, we have it on there that we'll do a Zoom.
Yeah.
okay.
And I'll go down and pick the James Ranch hamburgers up.
I was gonna say, we can't eat James Ranch burgers by Zoom.
It's on.
Oh, is it? Okay, I missed that, sorry. Okay, no, I totally missed that.
All right, well, we are on to certification of tax levies for non-school governments.
No, actually, the first thing we gotta do is, that was under the old board.
Oh,
And we've gotta, so we need to, adjourn the old board, and then we'll
And reconvene the new board.
reconvene the new board.
Okay, all right.
Wait a second. Tell me why we have to do that?
Because at the beginning of the year, we have the old board takes care of old business. And then we adjourn that meeting, then we reconvene with the new meeting and reorganize the board.
So even though, it's the same board and there's no new people coming in, we still have to do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Do we have any other old business before we adjourn as 2023 Board of Commissioners? Do we have any others?
I don't.
Okay, all right. Okay, we will.
You need a motion for that?
No.
then, or- okay.
We will adjourn this meeting at 8:58 a.m. and reconvene as a new board at 8:58 a.m.
That's so strange.
We will call this meeting to order. Do we have to do a separate set of minutes for both boards?
It'll reflect, and it'll be one step, but it'll reflect.
The first part was.
The old board and when it, when it adjourned and then the new
Okay.
board.
All right. Okay. As our first item of new business.
Well, the first item is board reorganization.
Okay,
So you have to determine, if
Yeah,
you're
all of
gonna
our-
stay as or who the officers are gonna be.
yeah. Yeah,
Primarily.
so we had, okay, so we. As part of our board organization are gonna examine our appointments to boards and offices, or?
No, we'll do that at the next meeting with the board. This is just the, chairman.
Oh, okay,
Vice chair,
okay,
who's gonna,
all right.
I know, we kind of agreed to rotate chair.
Yeah, I think,
You want to give Pete a try at it then?
we
Because you
can,
and I have both done it.
yeah, we can do it year by year, we can do it every other year.
Yeah. it
How
doesn't-
do you
it really
guys feel
doesn't-
about doing
it?
it?
Doesn't matter to me.
Pete, would you like to be chair this year?
No, I'm okay not being chair this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
I will
still,
say-
I feel like I'm still in the learning process and not quite ready to be chairman.
Okay. I'm happy to do it for another year, but I would love to see Pete get a shot at it
Sure.
in next year and
Sure.
keep rotating
Yeah.
through that. If we're
And I'm
doing that.
happy with how you're doing as chairman, so no problem.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't have a problem with it.
I've enjoyed the opportunity to be the chair, and I really appreciate you guys supporting me in
Yeah.
every way you can.
I don't have a problem with that. so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
okay, so we need a motion to appoint Austin as chair and you gonna stay as vice chair? You gonna-
Sure, I'll do that.
yeah,
Or chair pro tem. I
Chair
guess.
pro tem, okay.
sure.
So you need a motion for that? I'd make a motion that Austin stay as chairman and I myself am the chairman pro tem.
I second that motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
And then the rest of this we do. in
we
2
will
weeks.
do that at our next meeting.
Okay. But as far as opinion, I like the way it is right now. It seems to be working as far as
Yeah.
all the other appointments and everything like that.
Yeah.
Unless there's something else you want to take on or anything like that.
Just so there's this Sneffels Energy Board that I attended the first meeting. Not to say that I necessarily need to continue that appointment, but if I'm going to continue to serve on that board, I'd appreciate maybe just the discussion of taking something else off my plate if that's okay, or vice versa, if somebody feels really committed to going to the Sneffels Energy Board meetings. That's it, and it's not a huge time commitment right now. I think that they're probably going to only meet about every 90 days right now, but I foresee in the next 2 years that those meetings will get more frequent. Maybe there are certain things like there's the monthly commissioners meeting, which I'll talk about here in a couple in our commissioners reports. But they're going to continue meeting monthly, so that would be something if somebody else would like to do, or let me see what other ones. Planning commission, if somebody's dying to be on the planning commission. Yeah, but just things to think about, I think, for next time.
Okay.
I don't think we have to discuss or make any decisions now.
Okay.
All right. And any other items as far as board organization? Well,
Just a quick question. Have you had any applications for any of these vacant positions?
For lodging tax, I haven't for the others.
Okay,
for lodging tax, you have not?
No, I have for the lodging.
Okay,
tax, I
all
haven't for any of
the
the
tourism fund board.
the tourism for
All right,
but I'm thinking, trying to think of some names that I can go out and speak about. So
there you go.
yeah, but I think the big one probably, and we don't use it very often, but we do need to have it. Ready to go if we do, is the board of adjustment. That's probably the critical, or I won't even call it critical, but the one that, we could have to use.
And we do have to have, we have to fill in. Well, there's 3 vacancies.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is there, do we even need well, we still need that historic, never mind. The Historic Impact Review Board, the town has their own now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we still need to keep ours then.
Ours is basically for visiting sites and improvement from
Right.
sites if there looks like there's any activity on it.
Okay,
And actually, we keep track of them, but the historic review and what's the one right above that?
Avalanche.
Avalanche, yeah, we don't even do the avalanche anymore. The historic review actually gets appointed by the planning commission.
Okay,
And the reason we don't do the avalanche is, and I mean, we keep it there and we have some people we can talk, I mean. We try to have some qualified people there, but, it used to be that when an improvement permit came in, it was in an avalanche zone, we went to the avalanche committee and got their recommendation. Now, if they're in the avalanche zone or close, we make them do an avalanche study.
so, yeah, I mean, and that keeps your liability down too.
Well,
That's the
yeah.
liability on them too.
Yeah, it's just,
That makes more sense.
yeah.
All right, so we'll discuss the rest of this in 2 weeks then.
do we need to fill noxious weed management board spots?
We have to have a non-weed board.
Yeah.
A state statute. On that one, generally what we do is, the terms that are expired, if they're still in town and breathing,
Yeah, we just have,
reappoint them.
yeah, we just have 2 open spots, so we need to find some breathing
Yeah.
people for
Yeah.
the 2 other spots.
Yeah, but we've never had a weed management, meeting in 20+ years.
Yeah.
But it was something that the state required.
You could ask a couple of the owners of the pot shops, maybe.
Yeah.
Weed management.
Why not? Okay.
All right, okay, and on that note.
I'll roll today.
All right, okay. Moving on to certification mill levies.
I had a quick question, Willie. How come there was a temporary mill levy rate reduction?
That is up to Southwest Water Conservation District, and they've actually done theirs. They've actually done a temporary reduction from time to time. This isn't the first time they've done it.
Okay, I mean, if they're okay with it, I mean, as long as they have to pay their directors paid, correct? Isn't that their main expense probably? I can't remember.
They've got their executive director, they've got the secretary. I don't know how much other staff they have.
But this is to cover that,
Yeah.
I would assume. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean.
And if they,
We're such a small portion of it.
sure. But that temporary reduction is across the board.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, The 3.47 mills is what all the taxing entities that collect mill levies for Southwest Water are charging. It's not like 0.347 in San Juan County and 1.56 in
Sure,
Nevada County.
no, that answered my
8.4
question on that.
So,
Okay. So you just need a motion to certify this thing?
yeah, just motion to certify the Southwest Water mill levy. And I added, I put in your packet the list of everybody that we had
Right.
approved. The previous ones at the last meeting. This was only when we didn't have a mill levy for.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the certification of tax levies for the Southwestern Water Conservation District in the amount of 0.347 mils.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, appointments of boards or offices, we're going to table that discussion until our next meeting. And we will move on to designate courthouse entrance for official posting of meetings.
So basically what we need is a motion to designate the Green Street entrance of the courthouse as the official posting of meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 How come we have to do that every year?
Same reason we have to
It's just
have
a,
a board reorganization. It's one of those things you have to do on an annual
it's
basis.
just a housekeeping thing.
Yeah.
almost. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, sales tax report. Tax was
We got a
strong.
first sales direct tax report in a year, actually the sales tax for November last year. And it was up slightly, which is good.
We're up by about 40,000. First county,
For the county.
yeah. From 2022.
We were up, the county sales tax was up about $400, $300. Oh, good, yeah,
Looking at the total here,
the total, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Last year, but.
Yeah, oh,
2024 this one.
comparing the.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's-
yeah, but
yeah.
I was looking at last year, that's a big jump.
And then when we get our sales tax next month, the February sales tax, which is actually December,
Right,
then I'll provide you with the reports that will show you, for the calendar year or the year that it was collected,
I got you.
how those compare.
That is a good sign though,
Yeah, no, we did good. The town
sounded great.
did great, and of course, since the emergency service sales tax comes from both, it certainly was well.
And the only one that was down, strangely enough, was the lodging tax
Yeah,
by about 3,000.
yeah, and that was kind of the word I was hearing throughout the region is the lodging tax was down, and some of the comments that other people were making was during, there was so much of demand during COVID and right after COVID that everybody jacked their rates up. And so what they were seeing was that people that were staying weren't staying for as many days.
Hmm. The price of lodging has really gone up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty substantial.
But still, for the year, we did pretty good.
Yeah.
I think the other thing, was, as far as our lodging tax goes too, I think, the RV parks were down.
Those two were,
Yeah, well, and even this one, this one.
and this one, right?
It was
yeah.
full, it was full this last
It
year.
wasn't, the last,
Not even the little one in here in town, the old A&B RV park wasn't nearly as full as it has been in years past.
and I think that's, I think that reflects on the OHB.
Yep.
But it's, not too bad. And, and I may have mentioned that, we had more, workforce for, ER and Northwind and stuff, staying here and, renting some of the, staying in like, the Prospect Motel and some of the weekly rentals. And if they rented those for 30+ days, there was no sales tax on that.
Oh, huh.
So, and I don't know if they did or didn't, but that's a
That
possibility.
is possible,
Uh,
sure.
Yeah, anything longer than 30 days is considered a long-term rental, so there's no sales tax on that.
Interesting, huh? Yeah, that's a big possibility, because some of those guys were here for months. so.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
there were several of them here that were all summer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and,
So
it wasn't just the prospector, just a couple of the houses.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
several of the
Yeah.
vacation rentals were booked, and,
Yeah.
there was quite a fleet down at the, of VR trucks when you walk by the prospect.
Yeah.
Prospector.
I'll say it's expensive to stay here. And we hear it a lot from our customers for both at the restaurant for sales tax, and obviously we hear more from them because we have more customers there, but the lodgers that we hear from too are it's over 15% now, and the town just voted to increase their nightly tax as well. So we're gonna be more in the 15 to 20% range, I think, for taxes for lodging.
Wow. Oops, sorry.
Any other discussion related to sales tax?
Nope.
All right. Next, we'll go ahead and move on to public comment. If there's any members of our listening audience who would like to comment on any discussion items today or in general in the county, please go ahead and do so now.
We have Alex online, and I talked to him a week or so ago. He had, I think he had a real good suggestion, and I want to bring it to the commissioners, and I'll let him talk about it as well. He had a thought of renaming the truck bypass road for Ernie.
Oh, cool.
I thought that was kind of a neat idea. And
Sure.
Ernie was involved in that in more ways than one, as a
Well,
truck driver.
especially Stevie Johnson ran the heck out of
Yeah,
that.
so, I thought it was kind of a neat idea. We've got Alex here, so if he wants to, if you'd like to talk about that a little bit, Alex, I think that'd be great.
Sure. Sure. Good morning, commissioners. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's something that I've been wanting to do actually for a long time, and not just after Ernie, but also after Judy. Ernie and Judy have dedicated their lives to San Juan County and Silverton, and I think it would be an appropriate measure of recognizing their dedication to our community if we were to rename the bypass road. And it's just been the bypass road, which is such a boring name anyways. Let's add a little bit of flair and bring a new name to both San Juan County, and it goes through the town of Silverton, so the town of Silverton as well. And like I said, recognize the efforts and dedication that both Judy and Ernie have provided to our community.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Alex, when you had approached me at the dump, we're all good business happens in San Juan County, I guess. But I kind of like the idea of the Coleman Memorial Byway.
Well, I'll let you guys kind of decide on what it should be, a road, byway, street. I kind of like the idea of street just because that's how everything else is named in this town. We have Ree Street, Snowden Street, Mineral Street,
Coleman Street.
Seaman
Yeah,
Street,
I like that. Good.
Holman
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah.
So I thought that had a nice ring to it, but again, that's not my decision. It's yours, obviously. But I would like to see something like that happen. Ernie is an amazing friend of mine, and he's been a neighbor of mine forever. And I look forward to being able to recognize him, or hopefully sooner rather than later. Ernie. You never know with Ernie. He can power through some illnesses and stuff, but he is getting older, and every winter is harder on him.
No, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. We probably should take formal action on it. We probably should just get the input of our road and bridge director. I don't see that Louis would have any problem with it, but
No, and I just need to do a little research on it to see what kind of formal process we actually need to do.
yeah.
I don't think I think it's probably just a matter of, the commissioners voting to do that, but,
Yeah.
I've got to do a little additional research.
Yeah.
And I did inform Gloria at town hall. Just I didn't have a conversation with her. I just let her know that it was going to be something that you guys were going to discuss. So just so you know that they are aware at town hall that this might come from you guys.
Right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Good idea.
I think it's a great
Thanks,
idea.
Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely something we can do.
Neat idea.
And to be honest, I think we could do a little bit more. I think for Ernie said great service career too, but Judy as well. So I just got my mind turning that maybe we should forever name the blood drive after Judy and her efforts for that. And Hard Rocker Holidays probably could celebrate their contribution to that event and to the town too. So yeah.
I agree.
Which they have, Hard Rockers has by naming them the honoree of that Hard Rockers. I think Ernie and Judy both been named that.
Yeah, but just, I mean, honestly, there's a little sandbox down there, which I didn't know until we went down to the Hard Rocker Holidays this year, but it's one of her daughter's favorite things in the summer is to play in the sandbox. And now we don't have to have one of our own because there is one already in town. But down there at the event site, it'd be cool if the town
it's
black or something
make sure
like
it's
that.
sand and not tailings.
Yeah. It's definitely sand. They got it for the old for the kids.
That used to
Yeah.
be the thing in the old days, just to grab some tailings for a sandbox or
Yeah.
little stuff.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Yeah.
common.
Yeah.
The school playground was covered in tailings.
Was it? I did not know that. Like when you went to school, or really?
It explains a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I did not know that. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it was
really.
sand,
They'd use all the slag underneath everybody's sidewalks and
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah.
I haven't pulled up a piece of concrete in this town without having slag underneath it.
Yeah.
And like sidewalks, like thinner slab stuff. Yeah.
It was interesting though, when we were doing Anvil, actually it's the town's raw water line because it went right through the middle of Anvil, so we had to relocate it. And it was buried in slag, and so we tested it the whole way, and some places, there was some,
Infiltration.
yeah, but no, that it registered, but most of that slag, the black slag itself was inert.
It's glass.
Really?
Because it's black, yeah, I mean, they, if they were successful in taking out the minerals, that was a byproduct.
Yeah, it's
So
most
it really
of
was.
it's silicon glass.
Huh. That's funny. Somebody told me to be careful because some of it could be radioactive. It's like,
Actually,
I don't know
the
that.
radioactivity is in people's basement.
Yeah, and the radon stuff,
gas,
yeah.
Just just the natural production of radon gas from all the minerals that are in the earth, so.
Yeah. Oh, there's our water truck. Louis said he was gonna parade it for us. He was gonna come over during our meeting. I'm glad he caught us since we're having such a low meeting today, but the EPA did deliver our water truck just in time for Zamboni season.
Yeah, put a plow in the front of it and a little thing that sprays water.
Yeah.
Well, it's got the thing of water just for the
for-
educating. Yeah,
Disbursement manifold on the back, yeah.
there we go.
We can make it. We could just create an ice skating rink from Howard's to Eureka.
Actually, Swanson talked about ice skating the Animas. They would ice skate from here and then they go down canyon, just all the bumps and ridges,
Yeah.
but they would skate the river. Did you do that?
I never did it,
No,
no,
but
but I-
Swanson remembers, talks about doing that.
We used to do that in Alaska a lot because a lot of the. If it rained and then refroze, that would be a fun thing to do when you could do nothing else in the outside. The snow.
Put the skates on.
But you could put skates on or top, like also in the earlier season, if you didn't have early snow too, a lot of times the rivers start to freeze over there pretty quickly. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That just seems like some pretty funky ice skating.
Yeah.
On the Animas.
It's
With
not,
a hole here and there too.
it's kind of fun. And I actually have a friend, who is, historically has lived in like that kind of scenario, but he's living up near Winter Park, and he actually comes every year if we don't have snow, to go skating on the high alpine lakes. And he and his girlfriend have some amazing videos of ice skating in Blue Mesa Reservoir and a bunch of high alpine lakes and stuff, and really, really cool.
Yeah, if you had a big wind blow it all off.
Yeah.
Well, a few years ago, when we didn't have any snow, the people that come up and use Andrews Lake, I mean, they were playing hockey up there, they were skating up there, they were,
Yep.
I mean, there were just a ton of people just
Yeah.
enjoying the heck out of it.
Yeah.
Well, we used to have, Red Mountain Lodge, where that depression is right there.
Yeah.
There was a lake there, or not a lake, it was a little pond, and that's where everybody would go ice skating, they'd shovel it off.
We would take our jackets and turn them inside out and make them as sails at Evergreen Lake. They worked pretty good.
It's windy there.
Yeah, yeah, front range stuff really gets the big wind.
Yeah.
We just thought that was a blast.
All right.
I've got a couple of other real
Yeah.
quick things before, you get into the commissioner's reports.
Sure.
You guys might have other business as well, but.
No.
Just to update you, the town board agreed to amend their budget to reflect 6 months of an additional sheriff's deputy.
Oh, good.
After talking with Bruce.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, he figured it would be, it'd be unlikely that we'd have somebody on board before the middle of the year anyway, so.
Yeah.
So they did agree to that, so I think that's good. I still need to, get out a letter, talking to them about having more joint meetings and how we deal with budget issues and stuff like that, but,
Sure.
I was working on this and then I was waiting for this to come in, so I kind of
Yeah.
changed the tone of the letter. And then, the other thing, is, if the commissioners are, agreeable to it, I'd like to send a letter to, EPA, basically just stating, just asking them how they address all the issues and concerns that, Peter Butler raised in his
Yeah.
letter.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, Anthony had some wording choices for it earlier that I thought was nice. Just we saw the concerns that Peter Butler had, and we're interested in hearing EPA's responses to that.
If you think about it, we're almost at a decade since 2015. And really the only thing being done right now is, there is some activity with the repository, but that's all that's been done. I'm not gonna count any of the little campground things and stuff like that. That was just trying to put frosting on something, but this has not been addressed, especially the Gladstone stuff has not been addressed. They've had 9 years to address it and still have made no effort that I see to address it. There's no hiring of an engineering firm to start planning a lime treatment plant. There's been no settling of there's a land problem there as far as being able to do something on that property. That all needs to be settled before they even start building. I'm not seeing much effort. And maybe there is effort that I'm not seeing.
Yeah,
but
no, I
I'd
mean,
like to know.
I think there are
There-
some things
yeah.
that are going on behind the scene, but no, you're right. Last year really was the first year of any real activity going
Right.
on.
And
And,
no activity at Howardsville.
yeah, though, you know, again, Howardville is starting to be discussed. a little bit.
Yes. No, I go ahead and send the letter. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll look at it.
And next
I'll bring it to the commission next
Yeah.
week for you
Yeah.
guys to
Yeah.
look at and
I think
approve.
that's a
No,
good idea.
but Anthony and all of us are bringing up legitimate concerns. I mean,
Yeah.
9 years of work and not much to show for it yet.
And I mean, let's be realistic here, next year's not gonna be a big production year either, other than the repository, so we'll be at 10 years before,
Right.
you know.
Well, and
We can look that far into the crystal ball and see that it's not gonna change.
But they have a potential administration change hanging over them, and the last one was when they had that change was fairly disastrous for the EPA, and BLM and Forest Service. So
Yeah.
If
Okay,
you don't mind.
all right, Pete, you got something?
I was gonna go even further, Scott, with totally agreed with these questions and thoughts being written down by Willie from Peter Butler. You know, one of the things you mentioned is Howardville and you know, in your planning group and stuff. I mean, it'd be really nice for you guys to be actually a real seat at the table when they plan Howardville and things like this. I mean, it doesn't even seem to come up.
Howardsville hasn't even come up hardly at all, besides the sampling programs they're starting to do, but they still haven't sampled enough out there. I mean, they're getting there, but gosh, it really has been 9 years, and that's probably one of the major problems in the county.
All right.
Well, that topic might transition nicely into part of my commissioner report for some meetings that I had in the last month. Do you want
Okay,
to move into that?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I'll try not to go too far and let you guys do that too, but just having, you know, a number of different meetings with different folks. I'm starting to see kind of a connection in potentially us being able to develop some master planning for the valley going north of town on County Road 2. I think, you know, our discussion with Ben Martinez links into that. I think that the discussion that we're going to be having with the La Plata commissioners is going to link into that. The Sneffels Energy Board folks in San Miguel Power are exploring microgrid areas, and we've talked about how great that would be to put up on the tailings piles if we were able to utilize that property from Sunnyside that is otherwise, you know, essentially unusable. Discussions with the Hinsdale and chip sealing roads for air quality improvement. The grant that they utilize too, I looked into, is a multimodal grant. So those grants require a portion of pedestrian or non-motorized traffic as part of it, which is something that we've, you know, been exploring doing on that we've done on the Lower River Road. But I think that we're going to have an opportunity, I think, in the next year or two to really do something special for the community there if we can get on top of the money and the opportunities that we have through ARPA money, Brownsfield money, things like that. I'm kind of starting to see it, and I hope we get to discuss that a little bit more in this next coming year, and hopefully find, you know, how to do it. But I think we could create something pretty special going out towards Howardsville and Eureka there, if we're able to kind of do it. So
Yeah, that'd be great.
but yeah, I had a talk with John Whitney, and he recommended a couple other funding sources to look at too, as far as road development and that area. And that was kind of, I think, for me, that between Ben Martinez and my conversation with John Whitney, I started to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, like there might be a path forward through this, and we might be able to do something pretty comprehensive and pretty cool up County Road 2. So yeah.
You're thinking like a continuation of County Road 2 to Eureka. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Well,
As a trail.
I think we have the trails there already. I think we just kind of need to designate them, and it might create, it might involve it being a little different, just as far as this multimodal money, because there's a lot more money out there available for grant money if you include pedestrian walkways with it. So we might consider doing something with the Lower River Road, or I mean, there's the trail that goes up on the to the water tower too, you know, as a pedestrian trail too. So I think just kind of like a comprehensive vision of what we want to see there. And I think that's a big discussion to say where we want to have necessarily pedestrian access. But I mean, being able to sit and draw lines on a map and make a river trail or a valley trail that goes out to Howardsville would be a pretty cool thing if we could do it. And I think that
Are you thinking of just using the road that's there as the trail? Or?
potentially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And but even that as a discussion is hard, because it's also the Silverton Northern right of way for the railroad, and so we need to be careful that we don't step on, you know, folks' toes for that.
That's kind of a done deal. Silverton Northern Railroad is that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, when they were planning it, we were insistent that there be some kind of pedestrian walkway, because otherwise the railroad would take that away. So I remember being insistent that there was some kind of trail alongside that. But yeah, Silverton Northern, is it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I hate to be a naysayer, but it's the funding isn't there, the planning wasn't there. It was a great dream, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I think it's a big discussion, you know, before we talk about, you know, potentially going further with the Lower River Road, or with the is it 2B? 22A on further north from the bridge there at Howardsville to Eureka. I mean, I think it's going to involve a lot of public input and a lot of planning before we, you know, do anything there. But I think it could be really good water storage at Howardsville that Anthony was mentioning before too. And Charlie's going to start working on some of that planning too, so that we can see what kind of opportunities and availability we have there. But
and again, you know, I think one of the things Anthony has been looking at long term, we've talked about is using, you know, when EPA actually comes in and does reclamation work at Howardsville, use that, you know, that money as part of our match towards recreation or trails and road maintenance, or, you know, around that area.
We could use that money as match money, or in addition to the state money that the EPA gave, that we're going to be talking with the lot of commissioners next week about too. So
just all these things can help stretch that money further. But no, I think I mean, you know, every time on the Lower River Road, whether we're walking it or skiing it or snowshoeing or whatever, it's special place down there.
Yeah,
And,
kayaking down it in the river. I think it's one of the most scenic rivers that I've
It's fun to watch.
ever been
It's
down,
fun to
you
watch
know,
the
and
kayakers.
it's for a town run, you know, it's really kind of a cool thing. So yeah, I just after kind of, you know, in the last like 2 to 3 months, I'm starting to see that we could maybe create some kind of master planning effort just for that lower valley area there going out near County Road 2, and have some goals set and create something. I think it could be really cool if we work on doing some planning here in the next year and
just, you know, actually, I mean, even, you know, just 22A and actually get through the mudslides and the
debris.
the debris and, you know,
yeah,
get some sort of bridge at Eureka or whatever, you know, I mean, we can,
yeah,
there's all kinds of neat ideas out there, I think that
yeah,
could really make it a great spot for everybody.
yeah. But yeah, I think, you know, I know we don't have, and thankfully, I think the La Plata commissioners are kind of on the same boat, because I think we were afraid that the La Plata commissioners would get a plan together, be ready to implement it, and then that money that the EPA settled with the state for, that $5 to $7 million, would go 100% to our neighbors down, or the majority of it would go to our neighbors down the street.
Because they had put a plan in place before we did.
Yeah, and in
Talking
talking with
good thinking.
and talking with Marcia, I don't think that they're there yet. I think that they wanted to, right at the junction of Lightner Creek and the Animus, do something, and I think that plan has been convoluted a whole lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, we saw it. We pulled it over. We're like, you got here just in time, because our meeting was our meeting's pretty short today. So
Oh, yeah?
yeah, we're at the end. We already did public comments. So, but no, we're doing staff and commissioner reports.
So you want-
please
you want
give
a
us
comment?
give a comment or comments or reports if you got them. Yeah.
Where's the other one? Oh, there he is.
He's been respectful. He said he's had a dry cough for a while, and he didn't want to get us sick.
Understand.
Yeah.
Huh? There, we had an issue with it when we got it.
You had an issue the minute you got it.
Yeah, they left it outside and it didn't drain all the water.
Oh, so things froze then on you.
Yeah, we're in a low spot, the pump and everything was froze, it just didn't get that, it got below zero, way below zero with a frozen pump.
Yeah, fortunately, when it delivered, the temperatures weren't that cold, but if it had been so.
Yeah, we had to put
Where Louis caught
the
it.
salamander under it and drain everything off and we'll do something to it when we. Everything else was empty, they just didn't check it when we, so it could have been
Oh, yeah.
$4,000 or $5,000.
I was gonna say blow up our pump and stuff like that. Holy cow. Huh. That's pretty cool. So you're gonna put a plow in the front of it and then water distribution on the back so you can be a Zamboni? Yeah, that's great. And then did we budgeted for another employee for Louis Creek, correct? So that would cover
Yeah,
somebody driving that truck in the summer at least
Right.
and stuff like that, so.
and we just need to get together and put together help wanted.
An advertisement.
Get in the paper.
Oh, we had one before.
Uh,
Yeah, we had one before.
yeah, we just had to find it and update it, but
And then, I think by using this water truck, it's a good way to show that our water rights are being used, especially if we're pulling, do we have water rights up by Eureka? Okay,
we have water rights.
We have water rights
We
at
have
Cunningham,
Howardsville, well, at Cunningham.
yeah, Cunningham, but nothing farther up, right?
Yeah, I think up at Eureka as well.
We do, okay, so, by filling up both from Cunningham and there, we could prove those water rights for sure.
We helped approve them, yeah.
Yeah, And we're just gonna be watering this stretch, not Gladstone, correct?
We're gonna focus on this stretch, there may be times.
The reason I mentioned Gladstone is, if EPA's got a big project, or I think we have water rights at Gladstone
Yeah.
too, so if we pulled from there every once in a while and documented it, it would show that we're using our water rights too. It wouldn't have to be very often, but,
Yeah, we may have to, change something on that intake on the pump. It's like only like 2.5, 3 inch.
well, that's not
So it'd
enough.
take forever to fill that trying to draft. So if we can get Rusty to build like a, one like the fire department's water truck has it,
Cause the,
6 inch.
even though it's, this big, if you put it this big, that pump would be able to
Hopefully.
hope,
Yeah.
that's what I mean, is the pump designed for this, or would it still work with something like that?
I don't know until I try it, see,
Okay.
it'd be kind of slow.
That's interesting. Here,
Town water, the fire department water truck take like 20-some minutes to fill out of with a 6 inch suction.
That's pretty good,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
It is a lot heavier pump and everything. We just have to maybe test it out and see.
That's another,
we use 1.5 inch pipe in the brewery, and the big dogs use 3 inch. Like,
Yeah.
oh, for
Brewers and
their
Budweiser.
intake, yeah.
That's all they're moving it with is 3 inch pipe, so
Yeah,
that's a lot of water.
depending how far you have to lift it. Yeah.
Is, does this have capability to where it could be used by the fire department in case they needed a second water truck?
Yeah, it's got a hose reel on the back.
Actually, got a hose reel on the back.
Okay,
And it's got a discharge on the other side.
and Gilbert's aware of that we have that, cause that's nice having another water truck. I mean,
Well, be able to supplement the, other water truck
Yeah.
or the main pumpers if they're
Yeah.
somewhere in the
Yeah.
ground waters.
you could be
Yeah.
filling one up while the other one's being used or something like that, so. Yeah, no, this is great. I mean,
What would you think if that was a scenario that we had a fire that we needed to have that much more water? Would you guys operate that truck, or would you prefer in an emergency scenario having one of the fire department folks operate it?
All depends on what, who's covered on county insurance. We have CDL.
Fire authorities covered it.
Firefighter don't have to have CDLs for the truck, so. Yeah, they could. Have a couple people, whoever on the fire department be able to. Take it out. Kind of like us borrowing the truck from the fire department.
We should run that through, just Dennis to make sure that he doesn't have any issues that we're not thinking of, but that'd be great to.
Shouldn't be an emergency.
Great to sort what's gonna happen in an emergency before there might be the emergency.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, that's great.
I don't know. So we bring up that letter from the Army Corps, will
You'd like to.
as you know, we got a letter, you read it,
Yeah, I read
from the
it.
Army Corps of Engineers about the ditch we dug out at Middleton. To drain the water,
Oh,
when they were hauling out there that water, the beavers that had the water back clear up under the road right there where the water comes out of the hamlet. And it was just turning into it was gonna get a bad situation, so we had to put a culvert in there anyway this fall. We put the culvert in and then we redug a ditch, that drained the hamlet water down to that where that culvert's at and then out. So we were off the county road somewhat, but there was an old. When Jack Clark first moved out there, we diverted the water. There and had a ditch all the way down. Where we put this one. But we had those floods that ran out of Maggie Gulch
oh, yeah.
and flooded all that a couple
Yeah,
times.
yeah, I remember you
Yeah,
guys trying
that
to plug
destroyed
that.
that ditch. So, and it was working, it was draining out. There and the beavers just started damming that up, you know, and they had it back clear up to. Almost where the big pile is now, so. We dug a deep ditch along. Outside of the county road on the BSM on BLM land, and so. We got turned in for that. And Army Corps wrote a letter.
And I don't remember seeing that letter. What did it say?
We just, actually.
I was asking about pictures for the grant that we have on the Ford County thing, and he just happened to have it, so
Oh, good.
printed a copy out and stuff.
I got a copy because it was forwarded to me from Lisa. Merrill. I never got anything from the Corps and.
Yeah, when we dug it, she, said she's gonna have to turn that into her supervisor, so.
Yeah.
We were doing it to save the county road.
It wasn't a threatening letter, it was just, this is an incident that has been reported to us and is under, and we're going to open an investigation. That was.
Yeah,
There's several questions we need to respond to.
Yeah.
Can we work with them? Because that is a threat to the road.
And we had an existing concern that we just,
Right.
she didn't know about.
Where do we just have to meet with Corps engineer then, this summer or this spring or something?
What we'll do is we'll respond to their letter and then they'll probably, sometime this summer, they'll probably come up and do a on-site.
When we dug the ditch, of course, it drained some of the smaller little ponds, but a lot of it off of Jack Clark's property, we drained off, and a couple others there. It's,
The only other solution out there, it's after reading that one book, that they do with beavers, they just catch them and take them somewhere else, just to get them out of there.
Well, I hate to say it, but, there's really a push from some people to bring in more beavers to
Yeah,
help with the reclamation and restoration.
right,
But at the same time,
puts pressure on the
that
county.
it does have a unintended consequences.
Well, no, you see it everywhere,
Impact
cutting
the road.
out South Monroe.
Oh,
here. Yeah, I mean, and the only solution they proposed to that was just you catch them and move them somewhere else. And
Some of the remediation folks in town, I think. Need to understand the perspective that the county has for this. And I really think that the next time we have a meeting with John Kaminsky and the BLM, we need to talk about it. The next time we have the RMS here, we need to talk about it.
Forest Service.
CDPHE,
we're gonna have a real problem in South Main.
Forest Service, yeah, because this is now an issue that came up twice last summer, and in some ways it's all good that these folks want to do their remediation projects in the county, but a lot of times they're not necessarily following our regs and our process. And so for them to kind of basically jump over the county's head without any discussion and report to the Army Corps of Engineers is a really bad precedent to set for the way that we handle things. And
and the county definitely has to be involved, because
yeah,
you're trying to we have to protect our roads.
Yeah.
Well, stationaires to relocate the road and that across the county. Thousands and thousands
It's
of
a
dollars.
lot easier to relocate a beaver.
and I think what they really need to understand is that they have projects that they need these roads to access.
True enough,
Yeah.
true enough.
Both County Road 2 and County Road 110 service and access a lot of remediation projects.
Mhm.
And if they don't have a road to access these, because that's the alternative, is we could just close these roads,
Yeah, well,
you know?
they're
And
hauling out there, out of the
Yeah.
gravel pit, and if the road went completely to who?
yeah,
Have a lob wall out there.
yeah,
We'd have to.
Well, but that is something that has to be addressed, that there probably is gonna be remediation in that valley. Howardsville's first, but then because there are tailings, there's a lot of tailings in that valley. But they have to understand that, and that works, that's great, they're gonna do that work, but they have to understand that it could have consequences to the county. So how do you work around that?
yeah,
Do you help the county with, paying for, and I don't even know if it works, they talked about kind of the barriers, so that beavers can't come in and build in your coverts, right now you should put barriers, but then.
Beaver casino.
But then I've seen beavers where those barriers are, use the barrier as part of their dam too, so then you've got a new dam, at least it's not right next to the road, but that, somehow we have to get our input before that type of remediation is done, so.
2 years ago when they were building their dam down here in the Little Dora.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, on the flat ground right there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then, I've seen a couple spots where they. I saw one, there's a tunnel up here where they actually built in the tunnel, which was really smart on their part because it was safe. They dammed the tunnel and then there was a little upraise where they built their little lodge and, your predators aren't gonna come in there. And Walt Orvis talked about him being in Niderado a couple times and scaring the heck out of him. Where you're wandering down in about 3 feet of water and you see a pair of red eyes. Yeah,
Beaver Dam and the Arch Bridge. And the animals, ours were. The dam got completely up one.
Is
time.
that right?
Yeah.
That's no threat, because it's high water.
Sure.
Right up.
But yeah, it's impacted, I think it's impacted your ability to do your job.
A lot of times, yeah.
And we need to have a better understanding with these folks who are doing remediation.
Oh, and the big slide ran. In above South Middle Campground, brought all the timber down.
Yeah,
The Forest Service got a contractor going there with an excavator and get all the logs out, or try to get all the logs out. They got turned in by somebody because they had their excavator down in the creek.
yeah.
And they said it's stop.
Oh, where all those logs came down right above the
Mhm.
parking lot there.
They had to stop right in the middle of it.
I tried to help them with that a little bit.
Well, they got in a lot of trouble on board.
Is that by putting that thing in the, yeah, I remember that there, right below the culvert there
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but.
Other than that, counties were going pretty good. Matthew's learning
Seems like he's doing, is he using his, diesel, mechanic abilities, to help you guys out?
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Too much of that, yeah.
yeah, but, I guess that's what's always been kind of cool about the crews, that you guys do so much of the work yourself, which is a huge savings to the county, and instead of having to call
Yeah,
county.
Rusty built that blade up on that D6T, we built it. That probably saved the county $25,000-$30,000.
Wow, yeah, I mean, that's, it's just nice having a crew with that many talents, you know, able to do that, so. And then, they kind of get a test coming up spring as far as plowing back roads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Rusty learned a lot last year, he's pretty good.
good,
Matthew a little bit,
but, just, yeah, don't.
maybe find somebody else that has a little more experience.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, yeah, just, they'll get that experience, but you just don't want them getting experience on upper engineer or something like that, you know? Like when Wow Cunningham or so, well, Cunningham's got a couple of nasty spots on it too, yeah, and those cliffs right there, that's kind of spooky right there. So, and you really haven't had too much plowing to do, it's been pretty easy winter so far. I mean,
So 2019 until about this time.
yeah, you're right. By the end of February, it started snowing and, yeah, holy cow. Anything you got for us that we need to do, that we can help you with, or do you feel like things are going pretty, I think they're going pretty smooth, from what I can see.
Yeah, so far, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got your new crew and everything like that. And, you're gonna stay with us another decade, right?
Yeah.
Just checking.
House don't sell, maybe so.
I'm glad you came by. I had something I was gonna come by and ask you about later. The folks from the EMS flagged me down the other day and, they were asking about places to potentially park their trailer that we can see right there.
Mhm.
Because they've got the snowmobiles in there and they need a place to plug them in occasionally so they can thaw them out once they go out and things like that. And they're like, what about behind the county shop? And I was like, that's a Louis question. We gotta ask about that and what's going on with that. But they're having a really hard time figuring out a place to park that enclosed trailer that now houses all their emergency snow machine stuff.
Well, they asked Rusty, but he told them to ask me, but I don't know if they're afraid of me or what.
Do you have,
They didn't ask you?
do you have any kind of room in the?
I'm not
in the-
mean.
Do you have any kind of room in the shops or is that?
No, not for that.
Oh, okay.
We got
All right.
a dump truck and loader in there and the other pickup.
And the water truck now.
The county's, Explorer in there.
Do you,
But yeah, you don't have to answer it today.
You might be able to
just-
park it out back.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. They
Dump
just, and I don't know if there's any electricity out back there to plug it in, or if we can. You know, or if they have to pay us for electricity if they plug in their heaters and stuff in there, but, yeah, they asked me, so I was gonna come try and track you down later and see,
Well,
and see what you thought.
It'd be better than there for everybody who wants to get it.
Yeah,
when you-
yeah, they don't want it to be in the way of snow removal and everything.
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
It's one of those kinds of things, is that they don't need it to be.
Well, that's not as critical as it used to be back there, that, you know, you had to clean all that, because we had everything back there.
Yeah, okay.
you guys,
I'll tell them that they need to come talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
don't be afraid to leave.
He doesn't bite hard.
Do you guys, when you're, doing the firehouse, do you swing over and do the carriage house too? Cause we're not.
Sometimes the town, you know, they clean that out when they do the sidewalks and all that. And if we're doing something, sometimes we,
Cause,
Dave, you know, he was in the loader, he never got out of the loader. So
Sure. I just think if the town's out doing stuff and you guys happen to be there, it would be good just so
We do if it's heavy snow.
yeah, just mainly because those are our two of our most priority buildings,
Yeah.
you know,
I think that, like, something bad happens, the definition of emergency is those two buildings. So
True.
they gotta have.
As you get
good
access,
as they can.
we
So.
clean that out.
Yeah.
even a little bit of that berm, you know, that's in the middle of the street because the ambulances have to pull out and go like this and then hang at you to go around that berm. It'd be just nice. They could just zoom out sometimes too. So just
Yeah, the town, they got 3 loaders now, so.
do they?
Yeah, they
I
got
didn't-
approved for another dump truck too. Wow, okay. So they're gonna have 3 dump trucks and 3 loaders.
They can take care of that berm.
They can.
But like now,
That's-
like this water truck, I think it's set up, it has trailer brakes set up and everything on it. And where they have the hose reel in the back, I think the guy could pick that up and take it to KW or somebody. And have a plate put on the frame and a pintle hitch. So we could pull a trailer with it. And it's set up for that, and it's got really heavy. Rear ends and stuff, so. Gotta have to. Have the manufacturer go in and put a plate and. Plumb all that in and put a pintle hitch on
Yeah, makes
you.
sense.
Just pick the hose reel up on top of the frame.
No,
So Louis, you could probably haul your dozer with that eventually?
Probably the little one, yeah.
Yeah.
We ever get our new trailer, which is now May,
that's on order, isn't it? I mean,
it has been for a year.
For a year.
So they said May, so
Said maybe.
maybe. I don't get it. I guess it's a bottleneck in everything.
All it takes is one little bottleneck to
You can't get parts.
jam up everything. Yeah, Yeah.
Caterpillar's been horrible this year
really.
for parts and everything. Maintenance, everything has been bad.
How's Deere doing on that?
What's that?
How's John Deere doing for maintenance and parts and stuff?
Pretty good.
Better,
Yeah. We
Um,
haven't had any breakdowns or anything for them to have to come up. The parts are pretty available. That's been really bad, yeah.
I was thinking about this yesterday too, that the county was talking about purchasing a skid steer.
Mhm.
Potentially for some snow removal stuff on the sidewalks and stuff around here, and we had discussed the benefits of skid steer versus, you know, one of those Kubota tractor style things like the town has. For road and bridge, obviously you guys would have use of that machine if you needed it to,
Yeah.
Would-
Skid steer would be
be better.
than something like the town has.
Yeah. for sure, yeah. There's just there's so many of those attachments for those things, like,
Mhm.
we don't mow any of the sides of the roads or anything like that. That you
No.
could potentially need a tractor with.
We do have the old weed sprayer truck now, so. Willie got us, so.
I actually I think Willie has all 3 bids on those skid steers, right, Willie?
No, I don't. Pete.
I sent them to you.
Oh,
Okay. I sent them to you. I'll resend them to you.
yeah, if you would, please. Yeah,
Sure.
I got the one for the Bobcat, but the other two I've been.
I gave you the one. Okay, I'll resend the cat and the John Deere.
No, I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
So we can get moving forward on that.
We got a map for annexation today. We didn't get anything else, but we got a map,
Just a map.
just a map.
But we're getting much closer.
But we're getting closer.
Unfortunately, then you would have,
Unfortunately, it didn't sound like maybe it's gonna help you guys for plowing this winter.
No, probably not. It's not too bad right now. So
Yeah.
they've been moving stuff over a little bit.
they have been moving stuff over.
Better than it was last
Yeah, because we did discuss that.
Yeah.
That was interesting. If the town had it, then it's red alert. You gotta move it.
Could be, yeah.
Doesn't help you,
Except in
but
that apartment
Yeah.
complex there.
Yeah.
No, that's working out pretty good this year so far, like I say, there's no snow.
yeah, it hasn't been overwhelming or anything like that. It's
But
been.
Nico under control.
He's been gone the last couple of weeks, so.
Oh,
Now he's back, now he's back, you man.
That's funny. Yeah, and everything seems to be going pretty good.
Nice.
Alright.
Guys have anything else?
I think we're doing pretty good. I think it's going pretty smooth, so.
I'll leave the truck out there. if you guys want.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Gotta go take a look.
350 inside.
That invoice for the culverts that these guys had from the fall, do you have that I can send to Christy Borchers as well? Oh, you did? Okay, perfect. Great. Yeah,
Yeah, she responded, said that she that we could be good.
okay, good deal.
So,
Right on.
unless you heard something.
No, it was like earlier before the holidays that I
Yeah, I
heard
know.
something from her, but the holidays were super busy and.
Yeah.
You know, I pestered these guys for some pictures, but Rusty broke his phone, so no pictures.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
it's-
I got her that invoice.
Okay, good deal.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Another thing.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you wanna show us the truck or do you wanna just run out there real quick and look at it? And then come back to the rest of our meeting or, what would you like to do?
I'll just leave it out there.
Okay,
I
we'll,
think we're pretty close to done.
okay, we'll just run out after we're done, we'll go out and look.
Yeah,
Alright,
Yeah, I need it, you might let it run. It's not, I don't have it running now, but I mean,
sure.
let it warm up and get the air brakes and stuff. Cool. So they don't freeze in there. Couple shots pretty cold.
I bet. Get away from that stove.
We got the propane furnace in there, but we don't run it very often. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of gas.
Yeah, no.
All right, gentlemen.
Alright, thank you, Louis.
Thanks.
Take it easy.
Have a good one.
Yeah, other meetings, you guys have other meetings?
I had Housing Solutions of the Southwest. It was kind of weird timing. December 20th is a pretty late time to be having a meeting.
Yeah.
But we did, we discussed our audit, which was fine. We discussed Southwest Horizon Ranch financials, Housing Solutions financials, and then we made a motion to approve their 2024 budget. They have an incredibly complex budget because they're so grant oriented. Everything is being run off of grants. All their different programs are run off of grants, and so to me, it's almost like their finance director is fantastic, Susan. She's great, but just trying to keep track of all those different programs and managing the grants. It's really something. I'm always really impressed by that. So. Let's see if there's anything else I can think of. Their Aspera project seems to be going pretty good and they've gotten some grants for that. That's that housing complex they built for the homeless and stuff. I think they're doing pretty good.
Are they doing any housing rehab? Because we haven't. We signed that contract, or the grants contract a couple of years ago, but we haven't received any request for reimbursement or anything for, all last year. We didn't see a dime. Or they didn't.
You mean as far as projects, were there any projects done here?
No, in the whole like, because that CDBG grant is for the whole region.
Right.
And we haven't had anything in town, but, I didn't last year, we received no request for payment, you know.
Oh, for us to pay into it.
Well, no, when, say they have a rehab somewhere,
Right,
and, so then they, you know, turn in a reimbursement to the state
right,
for $50,000 or whatever.
right.
We get that money, but then we turn around and give that money back.
Oh,
And maybe the state, maybe they were able to short circuit it where the state just runs in directly now instead of going through it.
I think I'm trying to grasp again what's happened. I think the rehab program has had trouble because they can't find contractors.
Yeah.
So, I think if you might have to ask Elizabeth.
I'll give,
But
Christina's still down
yeah, ask him and see.
there. Yeah, I'll see where.
And,
they're at. Make sure I'm not missing something.
Yeah, I hope I didn't miss this, but I think if I remember, and it was just said in passing, I think they're having trouble getting contractors to do the project, so. Cause, you know, does a contractor wanna work on building a new house, do they wanna work on doing a rehab or something that's got not a right angle in the place like every house in Silverton? They wanna build a new house,
Yeah.
they are having,
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, see if it was in my notes. Okay, so did that meeting and then, I did like, you did also, so I met with, John Whitney and, the, Core Act got passed out of, Senate committee, which is amazing. And that was with bipartisan support. They got, Murkowski from Alaska, who's a Republican, to go along with it, which is, to see and that's what you want to see if you're going to take a vote to the Senate. You want to see bipartisan support for something like that. That's pretty amazing to have a Republican senator come over and say, "Yeah, I'll help you with that." So I was pretty impressed.
Yeah.
So, well, it's a great bill. I mean, it should be totally bipartisan and stuff like that. So, let's see. We talked quite a bit about EPA as far as my worry is that they're going through the money really quickly. You know, 16, 18, probably $18 million, if more than that, probably.
Is that what their estimates are for the repository already?
Yeah, 16 to 18 million dollars. That's
That they've already spent, or that
for the total project, I think. But it
Yeah.
didn't it start at like 14 or something, or 12?
I thought it started at 12.
I mean, I always take an estimate by the federal government and then double it, and usually that's what it's really gonna be. You know, like Animal Supply project went from 250 million to, was it 750 million, or almost $1 billion or something, but that's just, but what I expressed to John is we're worried that settlement money could be used up before they even build a dang water treatment plant. I mean, that's why they have to make some decisions and start working on those decisions as far as what, you know, are you going to remove 50% of the metals at Gladstone just by, you know, doing it? I mean, they already have a water treatment plant, but that treatment plant isn't treating the big four, it's just treating Gold King right now. So, they need to, they just need to get going on this thing and make that decision, because I don't want to see that settlement money gone, and then they're going, oh, we got to build a $20 million or $30 million treatment plant. Well, where's the money going to come from? So, let's see, did discuss with them, sometimes especially the turnover in Forest Service, and we didn't even know who we were supposed to be dealing with in Forest Service there for a while with that turnover, and just, did bring up the overcrowding at Ice Lakes, Highland Marys, the Weminuche, you know, just, you know, we talked about it with past Forest Service, but then, you know, they got a new guy, he's got to re-educate himself, and we essentially we're starting over again. That just kind of stuff just bothers me. I did express that we're thrilled to see 100,000 acres of sheep grazing rights retired. Let's see. I did bring up that I think some of the, this is my own personal opinion, but some of the mine land reclamation being done by BLM. To me is, and somebody like that North Star project, to me it's wasteful and non-impacting. There's no proof that any of it's working. Some of that's working. I brought that up. I feel very strongly that unless you have scientific proof that there's a problem, and that by doing your project you're going to remedy it, what's the point of doing it? North Star there's no proof that project did anything.
I think some of the things too, you know, that the EPA is only interested in remediation and they're not interested in restoration afterwards. You know, that now is just.
And that should be,
it was fine, and now it's a pretty big blemish.
That should be part of their project. Is the end game is you do the remediation, but then you restore it to what it was like 200 years ago or something like that. I think that should be.
Well, I think, you know, even out here on the repository on Daily Pond 4, you know, I don't know how many times we've stated, you know, the vegetation wasn't great out there, but it was a place where the elk fed, and now you've taken that away from them. You know, could you do some additional vegetation on the sides or somewhere else? And then they put in that little silk fence and tore up what little vegetation there was on that lower part.
Yes.
And you know, and I mean, and Athena, you know, really, I think she really tries, but it's like, oh, well, we don't have any money budgeted for that.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not our problem.
As big a
You know,
project
but
as that is,
they demonstrated out at the Kitty Mac that they can.
you can grow hair on a bald man.
Yeah.
And they could easily do it on the Sunnyside tailings. Those tailings should be replanted with grasses. They should be replanting all kinds of willows and trees at the base and stuff like that. I mean, like that ditch thing, that I'm still not convinced that there's another, to me, wasteful project. I mean, if you taken what they spent on that ditch and just put it in a actual restoration, you know, replanting trees, I think it would have got a lot more bang for your buck. So
There's some trees there, right, just north of the dump there, the transfer station, that were clearly planted by somebody as some part of remediation. I don't know what they did to them, but they definitely killed those. I don't know if they took and sprayed them to kill them or what they did, but they were clearly dead by the end of the summer, and they were fine at the beginning. So, so they're like, it's net worse than remediation that other folks have done before.
yeah, there could be a lot more, but I did bring those things up to John. Let's see, interesting, you just talked about that the budget is kind of low for Forest Service's recreation part of the Forest Service. That, you know, they've always been so focused on other things that you know, there's a lot more recreation happening on Forest Service lands, and they're not addressing that yet. They don't even have the budget to go study Ice Lake or Wemmanooch or this and that. So that's another problem too. Let's see. Of course, I brought up PILT and SRS, and the thing I did bring up the coroner cost too. I think if it happens on federal lands, it should be their expense, not ours. What else? I wish we could push for this, but I don't see how. I know they have how they do their figures, but PILT is based on number of voters in the county, right? Isn't that
Well,
how it's done?
It's number of acres, but there's also a population factor in there, and that's what kills us.
And that's what I brought up, John. It doesn't address the summer population. The summer population is huge here. If you count all the train, all the people here, everybody in the campgrounds, it's a huge population, all using federal lands. If you're basing your PILT money on the 700 registered voters, it's going to be this big. But if you based it on the actual number, and that's where I don't feel like they have a handle of how many people. You know, they put that thing up at BLM, you know, the traffic counter and this and that, and they've done a little counting at Ice Lake, but I don't know if they have a handle on really. How many people are using their lands, and I think that our PILT money should go with that instead of just based on 700 people.
Yeah,
Oh, it should be.
So that was just something else I brought up, so. But it was nice to meet with John.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it, so.
The one other thing that I talked about, just with John too, and I'm sure you did too, Scott, is just that he mentioned that. San Juan County is one of the few in Colorado that haven't received a big shot of ARPA money, basically at this point, and so they were examining what projects to potentially fund here. And that's county and town, and I told them I thought, probably from the town's perspective that their sewer system is probably their big ask, and they've done a lot of funding for that, and that's they're starting to get a handle on it, but still I think they only got a 50% grant for that, so for a $5 million project, so that's a lot of money to pay back in the next $2.5 million, a lot of money to put back in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Did they use any of that money towards their sewer ponds or anything like that, the sewer plant?
I didn't, I was trying to listen to the discussion while I was driving yesterday, and I would have to ask John Seitz specifically what the $5 million is for, but I don't think that included a wastewater treatment plant.
Oh,
I think that only included the infrastructure in town, replacing all the clay pipes.
Could we use?
Was that your understanding, or?
I think they're looking at 30 million for the treatment plant, yeah.
Wow.
And I could be off base on that, but I think, yeah.
That's more than Durango spent on their plant, I think.
Yeah, and that,
wow.
I mean, that
just seems crazy.
That might just be a number they.
Yeah.
Or I just may not be remembering.
Could we?
Yeah,
It's,
Could we?
I think as a total project though, for $5 million for infrastructure, it could get there, I guess, yeah.
Could we use ARPA money for running water and sewer out to the powerhouse? Is that a possibility?
That
We've always toyed with that idea, and then with looking towards. You couldn't do annexation though, because there's you have to be adjacent to town to do annexation, right? It doesn't, town limits end at Silverton Lakes Campground.
well, yeah, but you do annexation to what's adjacent to the town. And then now you've got a new line, so then you do the next set of property.
Oh, I
Now
see,
you got
so
a new
you
line.
do annexation, though, except that annexation would be the tailings ponds.
I know that the town is interested in doing annexation out there because of the water rights potential.
I didn't think about that.
Out there, so I think that's part of it. I don't want to speak too much, but now being a property owner out there, my neighbors are not very excited about the idea of annexation.
Why?
They don't feel that the town would do adequate services and plowing out there, and that there would be increased regulation. There's quite a few people out there who actually prefer to be out there because they're not in town limits, which is interesting. I never thought.
I never.
Yeah.
Huh.
There aren't many folks that I've spoken to out there who support the idea of annexation.
I'm just trying to think of any advantages. I mean, if you have the town plowing, then they wouldn't have to be, because is it Tony that does you guys plowing, or
It's
Pete,
Pete, actually.
Pete?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
But I think with the town services that there's a lot of skepticism that Anvil would be plowed in a timely and.
They'd be the last ones.
There's not.
They'd be the last ones on the line.
That's, I think, some of the concern.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't think about that, okay.
I think in general, it's kind of a regulatory thing too, they don't want to be subject to the town's
Sure.
authority and regulations. They prefer to be under the county's.
It would be nice to have town water and sewer out there someday.
Yeah, Yeah. It would.
Just about, because, you know, the stuff that the society is providing is. We consider to be non-potable water, even though we're treating it. It's
Yeah,
still considered to be non-potable. I mean, you can drink it. We used to drink it right out of the redwood tub up at the mill. You dip a cup in and just drink it coming out of Raster Gulch, because it was good water.
yeah,
But the state, of course, has their regulations and stuff like that, but that would alleviate a lot of headaches for the historic societies if we didn't have to be running that water treatment plant up there. It'd be
Yeah.
nice if it was just coming up from the city,
yeah,
and all that would be their worry, as you've seen with, you know, it seems like we're always digging a hole out there or something like that, so it'd be nice if that was a city problem instead of historical society or
Yeah.
something, so.
yeah. And I think that's the, you know, the main thing is that the town wants to annex it for water sources and things like that, so. That, but,
Yeah, I didn't think about the water rights part of it, I didn't see that.
yeah.
You got any thoughts, Pete, on that, or?
Well, so if you look at the linear footage, Scott, of what it would take to get town water and sewer there, do you understand what kind of money you're talking about?
A million, couple million, I don't have a clue. You do.
Easily.
What would your estimate?
It's price per foot. To about it's 175 for water. It might even be more than that now. For ductile iron, just for the ductile iron, and about 125 for sewer. So you look at the linear footage, just bringing that in, it would be, you know, it's doable, but it would be a lot of money.
What would your estimate be of that cost? Because I don't know what the total footage would be.
It would be close to $1 million.
$1 million? Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing is you've got again, it's always doable, but you've got all that wetland area and all that other stuff you have to go through next to the river to get to it. Do you remember, you know what I'm talking about?
We should have been putting water and sewer pipe in where they were putting that ditch in there.
Yes, we should have.
They dug the ditch
They
for
dug
it.
it deep enough.
Yeah,
And it was deep enough, wasn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Give them another 10 years, they'll redo
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You're right. The sad thing is, you're right.
yeah.
It's always just been kind of a dream of the historical societies that water and sewer go out there, so we wouldn't have to be fiddling with stuff that.
I understand.
We're a historic society, not a water
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, that's and what I talked with John Whitney about is I said, you know, for the county, I think we've got a lot of irons in the fire now. That was kind of the first time that I started kind of putting this together. Was in my conversation with John of, you know, if we could take and leverage some money from the state and from you guys and create kind of this master plan for the river corridor and enact it.
I think that's
would be a great use for us, for the county, but yeah, I think it's very preliminary now. I don't think anything would happen before 2025 at this point, so.
But I think it's a really good idea, though.
Yeah.
And I think we have to do it just because we have downstream neighbors that may have a different view than we do. Possibly, we may have the same view as far as restoration and reclamation, but maybe they have a different view. You know, as like Trout Unlimited or something, maybe they have a different view than we do. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I should get their input as we move forward on a master plan or something like that. Because that's already, there's people out there with ideas already thinking about what should be done with that valley, and I think the county should be involved.
Yeah.
And just, it's kind of weird that EPA says we'll do the remediation, but they're not really talking about restoration. You know, it's like if you already got the equipment there to pull the tailings out of the creek, then use that equipment to do the restoration. And I thought they did that at Leadville. Did they? did EPA do some of that at Leadville, you know, along Arkansas? I mean,
They can do some.
they can do restoration, I mean, they were mixing dirt with, or doing something with, remember those tailings that were out from the river, you know, and they mixed dirt with it and turned some of that into wetlands or whatever, so now I'm sure that was EPA money.
Well, if they're developing wetlands, then that's probably part of their remediation. So that they can justify that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we should push for that for sure.
Yeah.
That's all I had as far as, Pete, sorry, Austin, did you
No,
have?
no,
Pete,
that's
did
all
you
right.
have any
Pete, do
meetings?
you have any meetings or?
I've
Commissioner
had-
report? You said you
had
had
a-
some quotes back.
I've had a couple, the AAA, the aging. I've had a couple, I've got another one tomorrow. So I almost like to report back on that the next meeting, because this meeting tomorrow is going to be an interesting one. There's, I feel there's a little drama, happening with, I always like to try to stay out of drama, but, it's unavoidable, but, so I'll find out. I'd like to report after tomorrow's meeting, you know, next on that, you know, things aren't terrible or anything, but they're definitely reorganizing and there's just some stuff happening there. Like I said, I'd like to wait and get a better opinion after tomorrow's meeting on that for you. And then Willie, just if you check your phone there, I resent Daly's on the cat skid steers, and I can't. And Asa, I've asked him twice from John Deere, hasn't sent me anything yet.
Okay.
So, on the skid steer thing, but I'll stay on that hard. The reorganization with Honan has been bought out. You guys know at John Deere, is gone well so far. They're holding everybody in their parts department and service department, and everything else. So things seems to be going smoother there.
Who, Pete? Hey,
So
Pete?
John Deere, Honan Equipment in Durango,
Yeah,
they got bought out
by John Deere.
by John. Well, they're still John Deere. Just the Honan part of it got bought out. So
Oh,
they're
I
no
got you.
longer, which has been there for, you know, forever. But everything still seems to go smooth there and everything else. But I'm trying to, and talking to Willie, and you guys remember the last time, trying to see how this new buyout is going to help. Asa kind of told me that it will be better, hopefully better for us in that we can get better deals. And I said, I hope so, Asa, because that last meeting you were at with the motor graders was less than substandard, in my opinion. Do you remember that deal?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even competitive. So I'm hoping things happen a little better on that end. And again, daily with Caddis, they're trying to improve their services. So we'll just see what happens there.
And I think the predictions for interest rates are going to continue to fall here through the spring. And I know it really sucks to talk about putting things off or doing things, because I think we really wanted that skid steer for this winter. But
Right.
if the contract is going to be, you know, maybe
Right. Well,
then it's like, if they can't deliver a product until May, then I don't know.
And that's why Willie has those, and we can. I mean, I don't know if you got them right now, Willie, but there's price points there. I think it is available. We could get one this year, and
Well, that would be great.
and a pretty decent, and a pretty decent pricing. So
Yeah. Nice.
that's all I have for right now.
I had one other meeting. We had the Southwest the swirls, the Southwest regional. I don't even know what the L stands for anymore. But that group, basically all the original members have all turned over. including me, because it was PPK first, on there, so, Christy Borchers, I think, is the only current, member anymore, and she asked to step down from kind of chairing that group, and I think that, the newer commissioner who replaced Hillary Cooper and San Miguel is gonna carry that torch. They find it, they sent out something, and I'll forward it on to you guys too, that they find it, you know, beneficial for us to stay in regional contact, which I completely agree with. But I think we're gonna lose, I think we're gonna gain a few members, we're gonna lose a few members of regular attendees of that meeting. I think that Jonathan Howe, commissioner from Gunnison, has stated, you know, that he is glad to attend those meetings as long as there are agenda items to discuss. And so I don't think Jonathan will continue with that in that forum, because it's just he's a busy guy, and I can imagine that we might lose the voices of some folks like Jonathan, but we might gain some folks like Commissioner Garcher from Dolores County was there, and I haven't seen him on one of those meetings before.
Steve
So
Bertrand.
yeah, Steve Garcher. So it was great to have him there and have the perspective from Dolores County there. And I don't know if that's just because the chair of that may move from Hinsdale, which borders Gunnison, to San Miguel, which borders Dolores, or what exactly. But I can imagine that having that group continue, and I'm supportive of
I think it's
us
just
continuing
I
to
think
be
it's
a part of
good
it.
idea, just because things that are happening in other counties could be things that we could be having to deal with or are dealing with, and they may have dealt with it differently than we did, or we've got the problem, they've already dealt with the problem, they might be able to help. So I think having that input is fantastic.
I really appreciated just even some of the informal conversations that we had about Tabor, Gallagher, property tax things. I kind of got a good pulse on what our neighbors are doing for property tax abatement and things like that. And I think that our neighbors kind of balked at what we were doing, that we were keeping the 40% increase in revenue. But when I told them, how much it actually physically meant for us, they were like, how do you support your county? Little property tax, A, and then B, when I shared with them the inflation statistics that Willie's put together for us, they were taking notes to ask their administrator staff folks to maybe examine some of the same things. And that led into, we talked about some of our increases, like our increase in sales tax, in lodging tax, in property tax, basically barely covers the increase in insurance that we've had in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And like we're at almost double, like so close to double for insurance costs in the last 5 years. And when we talk about it, I think it's like by the time we finish paying our insurance bill, the increase in property tax covers another, maybe covers the deputy.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's the deputy salary. That's about it.
I mean,
It doesn't cover
I do feel if we hadn't had that property tax increase, we may have had to go to the voters for an increase in mill levy, which hasn't been increased in a long time. And that wasn't realistic. If your mill levy stays flat while your inflation goes like this, you got to make it up somewhere.
Yeah. No other county surrounding us has had that long of a run without increasing their mill levy. For sure, that was one thing that I said, because I kind of had to qualify a little bit, that we haven't increased our mill levy in 30 years, and we are just barely keeping pace with the inflation and the increased costs that we have. And I think it made them look a little bit harder at some of their own things as well. It was really interesting. San Miguel's going to be giving rebates back to people for property tax, which I thought was really interesting.
Oh.
And then Uray is keeping theirs, but they're basically donating the overages to I think it's called the Telluride Foundation. So Uray County is going to be making a massive donation to a nonprofit based in San Miguel County.
Is that the foundation? That's a land, is that a land-based foundation? I can't remember.
It's a employee retention program and assistance for citizens who are living in high cost areas who need help with rent assistance to be able to continue to live in those places. So
Wow.
rent assistance and other things as well.
Sure.
But, yeah, that about that some of the more conservative folks on that were really surprised to hear that was even possible and legal to do. Like,
Why would they do that? Telluride instead of doing it for their own county?
because they already have the foundation and it's set up in San Miguel County, and because they share so many employees, community employees
from
between
Uray County.
Uray County
Yeah,
to
huge
San Miguel County.
So it's gonna benefit Uray employees.
Yeah.
I mean, you just see that long line of cars going up to Telluride every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think for them, they thought, you know, the folks that are going to be taking the brunt of the increased costs are second homeowners in Uray County. And they didn't feel that relinquishing that revenue so that second homeowners would have more affordable property tax was really a valuable but just interesting to see, because San Miguel could have said the same thing.
San Miguel could easily said the same thing.
And
as far
they-
as second home ownership.
Yeah, but they're going to be giving
Actually,
taxpayers money back for
This county could
We're
say
low.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
50 or 60% of these homes are.
yeah. But it was, and Commissioner Garcher, you know, Dolores is keeping 100% of theirs because oil and gas revenues are down significantly. Just same situation as La Plata County has as well. That property tax there has had to be increased to supplement the loss of income from oil and gas
Because
revenues.
their infrastructure is definitely suffering right now.
Yeah. So just really interesting to hear different perspectives and conversations from
and,
people.
And you come across a grant that somebody got and you go, well, go ahead, maybe we should be going after a grant like that or something, you know.
Yeah.
There's just, that's like dealing with Tri-State and San Miguel Power, you know, different things like that.
Yeah.
So,
And the other conversation I thankfully took no part in, basically because a couple of the counties surrounding us have had issues with planning approvals of projects and administrative approvals of things that have then come under fire. And Archuleta County had a big lawsuit with a bunch of constitutionalists about private property rights and precedents and things like that. And basically they, you know, I said, Austin, do you have anything to add to this conversation? How do you guys do it? I said, we approve everything as commissioners, you know, everything goes through the process of being approved by the planning commission and by the county commissioners. And we have our process pretty well outlined, and
and we have things set in place.
pretty tight. And I think that the way that we have our land use code set up and our approval process set up is actually I was really proud of our staff and
well, it's a land use code that definitely reflects the master plan that was put together.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good one.
yeah. But I think, you know, after hearing about some of the legal troubles that folks in other counties have surrounding, you know, private property rights and land use and lawsuits and things, the way that our land use code and our approval process is set up is probably saving us some legal fees.
Dude, I remember the flack that La Plata County got. Remember when they tried to put together land use regulations and stuff? Holy cow, did they? And I know they've worked through some of that, but it was that same thing, you know, a farmer saying, you ain't telling me what I'm gonna do with my land, you know, especially the rural areas around La Plata County, were saying you're not, you know. But when they went to do those things, they should have included, I felt like they should have included more input from those folks. But boy, there was a huge pushback when they tried to do land use regs, huge, because they needed land use regs because of development that's happening there, but
Yeah.
boy, it's sure got some pushback.
I just wanted to share one other thing that I think will make, at least it should make the taxpayers and folks happy is Patrick Rondinelli was on the call too, and they were talking about this. He was offering advice from his perspective at DOLA and former experience as Uray city manager. And he was saying that, you know, your lawyer is your best employee at your county and that they should be the highest paid employee at the county. And I was thinking to myself, well, if you've set things up well, hopefully your lawyer should be trying to save you money, not be the most expensive person. And
They shouldn't be busy with that kind of stuff.
and they shouldn't be busy with that kind of stuff. And I was pretty happy to say, you know, well, I think Dennis does a great job, and I think that the way things are set up and the way that Dennis does things, I appreciate that he doesn't. I wish he was here to tell him this, but I appreciate that he doesn't go looking for fights or engage in things that could be a waste of taxpayer money.
But he doesn't necessarily have to, because I think we have things pretty well in place as far as those land use regs and stuff like that.
I agree. Yeah.
And hats off also to Paul Sunderland, who helped
Yeah.
us.
Really helped put us in this
with that.
position.
he
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
very knowledgeable about things like that. I mean, he was great. So
Yeah, really glad that we don't have $100,000 plus attorney bills every year over these kinds of issues.
yeah, our last one was $1,600, I think, or so. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been quiet on that.
I sometimes feel bad that Dennis isn't making enough to make this work this up here, but he's
Yeah,
happy.
but it's so nice to have him
Oh,
there.
no,
Yeah.
And he's really, and he's helped us with lots of,
yeah, no,
lots of,
we were, I was real concerned when we lost Paul, because Paul had been such a great attorney for us. But Dennis, I'm so pleased.
definitely stepped right in and helped us with like the road thing, with the overweights and, there's just so many things he had to draw up that we had to get into our regs because we didn't have them. So
We're pretty fortunate. He was a good choice.
I think and I think it's way better to feel that way about your attorney than to feel like you're overwhelming your attorney and their firm with too many fires to put out or issues to resolve and review and those kinds of things. So I haven't heard Dennis complain too much that we overwhelm him or underwhelm him. So I think I just after that discussion I was like, man, that just at least wanted to share with you guys that I think I felt very good and San Juan County's position in that conversation to say that these are issues that our county doesn't really face on the level that you guys do, because we have maybe it's probably more work for us, but it's definitely more work for Willie to go through all these approval processes to come through the planning commissions and that, but I think it's well worth it overall.
It's a good process.
It is, and I look back at, starting with, as far as those backcountry regulations, starting almost 25 or 30 years ago with, was it that long ago? Remember Our Good Times came and gave us a talk at the theater? Remember that? I'm just saying, because San Miguel was starting to really look at like backcountry regs and stuff like that. And that process started a long time ago. And thank goodness, you want that process in place before that development happens, because that was the worry, is that, you get a Telluride type development happening before you had everything in place. And that's why I'm really glad to see the town doing what they're doing too, because they need to have some things in place.
Yeah, there's way too many contradictions and
There's a lot.
omissions and
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
But that's all I had. Sorry guys for
No, that's okay.
but yeah, I thought you guys would appreciate hearing
Yeah.
a little bit of what the other folks in the region are going through
And it's nice to have that perspective by getting to meet with them and talk to them. And maybe get some ideas of things we haven't foreseen. So
yeah.
definitely. I don't have anything more, Will.
I don't either. Pete?
Nope.
All right, well, thank you guys. I think we'll adjourn this meeting at 10:47.
Is that a record for a day meeting?
No, I think, and I think we could have, I know we could have adjourned this an hour ago, but I do really appreciate you guys, your patience and your discussion and your thoughtfulness and
But
sharing.
that's what's, when you have a light meeting, then it opens it up to discussions maybe we haven't had a chance to have. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
You know, if you're feeling better, bud.
Yeah, I hope you feel
Yep.
better.
I appreciate that. I'm not the only one sick in town. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, no.
A lot of
There's a
sickness
lot of
in
people.
town. And
Yep.
and you guys definitely didn't need it today. So
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
I get your signature on the resolution there.
Oh, yeah, I was supposed to stop by and do this, and I forgot. There we go. Yeah, it's perfect right here, though, so.
Do you need me to sign any of those or ours?
I have a
I think you guys-
I have one thing for you to sign.
Yeah.
From,
Jim called me yesterday.
Jim, yeah.
Traffic agreement. Durango yesterday, it was like they got 12 inches of fresh snow.
Yeah.
And it was like they hadn't done anything since it snowed. It was crazy.
Katie said in Ridgeway, they got eight to 12 in Ridgeway. And it's like the storm split and went around us. It's done that twice now. Because we only got what, 3 inches?
Oh, yeah,
2
which
inches?
is- You just,
Signature number one, there we are.
I know, that had to be the craziest one.
I tried to do this online too, and because Jim said, you can do this online, sorry.
Let's see,
Jim
are
was
we-
like, you can
are
do
we-
this
are we
online.
off, Willie?
We're not yet, but Pete's being patient with us. You can get back to what you have to do too, Pete.
Austin, I was gonna just tell you since we're adjourned to actually Tony for the plowing out there at the powerhouse. It's kind of a Tony war. Tony Guenta is using his new snowcat, which is fine, right? But I offered Tony from Jersey the plowing with his blade because he does a faster job than I did.
Yeah.
I still plow you guys' little area, right? But it's gonna be kind of interesting to see who charges the historical society and what. So
Oh.
try to keep those. Yeah, they're honest guys. We just got to keep them honest. But it's just kind of funny because they're yeah. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, Pete.
All right.
Yep. You guys have a good day.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.